Hello Battle Cats players, my name is Chance and welcome to my guide. Today we're going to be looking at a very special cat that I'm sure many of you are kind of familiar with. He does have his own spin-off series after all, or at least spin-off game. We're going to be talking about Pogo Cat. This rare cat can be unlocked by playing the rare cat capsules. And as always, it is my hope that throughout this video breaking down Pogo Cat's evolutions, his pros and cons, his use cases and strategies, as well as his cat combos, cat fruits, and talents, you can derive a clearer picture of how to best use this cat and how far to invest into him, if at all. So without further ado, let's get started by first taking a look at his evolutions, which of course start with Pogo Cat himself. Sucked into the recent trend of toys, still looks pretty fun, cheap to produce, and might survive being broken. This is kind of a lie, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but at level 10 he will evolve into Maasai Cat. Volunteered overseas and experienced a cultural exchange. Tacoma costume, cheap to produce, might survive lethal strikes. And then at level 30, as well as implementing some cat fruit and XP, he becomes Jiangshi Cat. Horror movie maniac or real ghost. Mystic Seal is just this month's gas bill. Cheap to produce, 100% survives once. Now even just looking at his descriptions, I'm sure you can already tell what kind of class that Pogo Cat is considered to be. He's considered to be a meat shield. Meat shields are units with low cost or minimal recharge time and preferably have their survivability. Now, as far as the pros go for Pogo Cat, very fast cooldown, high DPS in true form, and high attack rate, which are all great things by the way. However, cons, you have low health, single target, and fairly high cost. As far as every trait goes towards Pogo Cat, it is his high cost, funny enough, that actually holds him back more than any other. Not to mention the fact that Meat Shield is an incredibly aggressively vied for position in the game. And there are a lot of very steep competitors within that segment. Under other considerations, however, you have a 50% chance to survive lethal strikes, which becomes 100% in true form, which is, in theory, quite good actually, as it guarantees at least one hit will be survived. Now then, let's take a look at some strategy and use cases. First and foremost, as far as cost is concerned, in normal and evolved form, Pogo Cat will cost 240 cents in Chapter 1, 360 cents in Chapter 2, and 480 cents in Chapter 3. Then upon true forming, that price will be slashed to 160 cents in Chapter 1, 240 cents in Chapter 2, and 320 cents in Chapter 3. This is still very expensive when considering the fact that he is a meat shield unit first and foremost. As far as strategies go, I mean, he's a meat shield, so he's meant to take hits instead of other cats. And while I suppose in some stages there is an argument to be made for him being an even better meat shield than most, seeing as how he can get at least one survive off, the only real stages where he could actually make that claim would be very cash-rich stages. However, he does have fairly high damage for what he actually is, and that is definitely a boon. This is especially true for his true form, which also gets his price slashed, although not enough to make him meta viable, still enough to make him a good choice for cash-rich stages where you need to survive more than one hit, or at least endure more than one hit. This is most pertinent on stages with Nadam, the Sloth, or really most of the Cyclone stages, as most meat shields only survive one hit there anyways. Now then, let's discuss some cat combos. First up, we have Pyon for 2, Worker Cat max up of the small variety involving Pogo Cat and Rope Jump Cat. This increases wallet size by 10%. I don't think it's very useful. I really dislike almost all of the Worker Cat related ups. That being said, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Then we have Tiny Ancient Hunt. This is a unit attack up of the small variety involving Little Dragon Cat and Maasai Cat, and increases Cat's attack power by 10%. I actually think this is pretty fair. The 2 cat 10% increase there are a lot of cat combos that have that. Little Dragon is a pretty interesting unit, not bad, not great, but pretty good. And Maasai Cat, although expensive, is still a viable meat shield, so perhaps I could see this being a viable option. In any case, that's about it for the available cat combos, at least currently. Now discussing seeds and what it takes to true form this cat, you're going to need 2 purple seeds, which can be obtained from the growing purple stage every Tuesday, 3 red seeds, which can be obtained from the growing red stage every Wednesday, 3 yellow seeds, which can be obtained from the growing yellow stage every Friday, 1 blue cat fruit, which can be obtained from the growing blue stage every Thursday, and 1 green fruit, which can be obtained from the growing green stage every Monday, and 1 green cat fruit, which can be obtained from the growing green stage every Monday, and 200,000 XP. Now then, I'm just going to flash a couple of the charts and graphs pertaining to Pogo Cat on the screen while reading out some trivia. Firstly, Pogo Cat has his own game in the form of Go Go Pogo Cat, which some of you might be playing as a way to get some cat food. The Maasai is an ethnic group in Kenya which is well known for their jumping tribal dance. Version 3.0 of the battle cats give them the ability to survive a lethal strike. Jiangshi refers to the type of stiff, reanimated corpses in Chinese folklore, sometimes called hopping vampires by those unfamiliar with the concept. The main feature of Jiangshi is hopping around while dressed in Qing Dynasty garments and having paper seals on their head. They are said to appear at night and kill people by sucking out their life force, qi, then returning to their graves as they fear sunlight like vampires. They are also similar in how they are countered by a specific type of plant, being the peach tree instead of garlic. Other details are often disputed and vary from source to source. Now then, let's talk about talents. As far as talents go, Jiangshi Cat has access to Resist Slow, which reduces slow duration by 16% and improves by 6% up to level 70 for a total MP cost of 75. Resist Wave, which reduces wave damage by 5% per level up to 50%. The defense and attack buff, which increase their respective traits by 2% per level up to 20% for a total NP cost of 75 each. And movement speed up, which increases the movement speed by 1 per level up to level 10 for a total NP cost of 75. Now, as far as these talents are concerned, some of them are far more useful than others. By this, what I mean is you're going to want to prioritize the move speed up. This is really just because of the meat shield role. Ideally, a quick meat shield is a great meat shield, as it allows you to maintain and support the line relatively easily. From there, you're going to want to prioritize his attack and defense buff, as at this point, if he's of a high enough level, he can actually deal some pretty good damage. Resist Wave and Resist Slow are somewhat circumstantial, but if you find you're struggling with these two particular types of statuses or damage types and you need some extra support, it might not be bad to look into. Jiangshi Cat does also have an Orb slot, however, as he is still technically considered to be a generalist unit, it's best just to leave this empty. Although be sure to let me know if any of my thoughts are wrong or misguided on any of these points. Now that you know what I think about Pogo Cat and his various evolutions, let's see what you guys have to say about him. Firstly, we have a Blackbird 420 coming out and saying, True Form is pretty viable on restricted stages, 7 out of 10. This is actually something I haven't touched on yet, but in theory he's right. While I would make an argument there are still better cats for most stages, sure, why not? Although this is especially true if you've super maxed him and really heavily invested into him. Next up, we have Darkstar Rast, who says, I forgot this cat even existed, Lamau. Endgame player. Yeah, fair enough, I don't really use him that much, and to be honest, I find there are better cats for his role for the most part, so it's pretty forgivable. I also don't think there are any stages where he's really necessary on, although he can make a lot of stages much easier. At Freaking Stupid coming in with 5 out of 10, probably better in his true form, but I don't have it yet. To that, yeah, you're right, he's much better in his true form, but fair enough. Then we have Amalos Katu 298 Silica, who says 0 out of 10, trash to me. Well, I'm sure that's true in a kind of circumstantial, subjective sense, then yeah, I guess, maybe, but he does have use cases. Once again, he's not really necessary for anything, but he can make some stages easier. And those are all of the comments that have been made as of me doing the voice recording for this. I'll be sure to add any I can in post. But if you would like to be a part and share your own opinion with this channel, feel free to check out our community tab and comment on the relevant posts. And that's really about all I have to say about Pogo Cat. I think he's a fair unit in some circumstances, at least in his true form, but he does get outshadowed, not really because he's a bad unit, but more so because that meat shield role is so heavily competed for and there are so many great options for it that he just doesn't really have a niche to shine in. However, let me know what you think down beneath in the comment section. Be sure to mention if I got anything wrong, misexplained anything, or just glossed over something I shouldn't have. And be sure to like and subscribe, because Cat God told me if you did that, you'd get an Uber on your next gacha roll. Now, without further ado, thank you so much for listening until this point, and as always, I'll be talking to you soon.